see what we can do, especially in this festival season. You need to give stringent regulations to all the road users. Honorable members, I want to thank you once more and sincere on behalf of Parliament of Uganda, the leadership of Parliament of Uganda. We called you on a short notice and we are happy you're all here. We feel for each other. We are brothers and sisters. You've been able to come and pay tribute to our late brother. May the good Lord bless all of you. It is so heartbreaking, but we can't do much. We have to live with it, and let's be a keeper of each other. As we go out for a break, kindly take care of yourselves. Be mindful of the accidents. Thank you.
May we please rise as we witness the entry of the casket from the central lobby into the chamber, and thereafter we shall have the national anthem and the East African community anthem. May we please resume our seats. Item 4, laying of wreaths.
Honorable members, before we go to laying of the wreath, on the technical bench, this afternoon we have the immediate family of our fallen colleague. We have Mr. Abilet. Mr. Abilet, who is a father to the late. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you for coming, Reverend. We also have Mrs. Reverend, the mother to the late. We have Mr. Omoding Emmanuel, the son to the late. That's the firstborn. We have Okabe Samuel, that is the son to the late. Then we have Ampin Margaret, the sister to the late. In the public gallery this afternoon, we also have a delegation from the Cultural Union of Teso, represented by His Highness the Emerald Papa of Teso. Papa Marmor, can you try and understand? We have Papeliao Davidson, most welcome. We have Papa Equaro Francis, welcome. We have Papa Ejoku Stephen, welcome. We have Papa Mod David, welcome. Join me in welcoming them. They've come to witness the proceedings. We also have the family and well-wishers of the late Bishop Okabe. Kindly just stand up and wave. The friends, the family, welcome. This is your parliament. Welcome to Parliament of Uganda. Thank you for coming.
Laying of wreaths, the Right Honorable Speaker. And the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. The Right Honorable Deputy Speaker. Her Excellency, the Vice President. Right Honorable Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business. The Right Honorable Leader of the Opposition. The government chief whip. The Right Honorable Third Deputy Prime Minister, in that order. Parliamentary commissioners. The whip, Forum for Democratic Change. The whip, the Democratic Party. The whip, Uganda People's Congress. Uganda Women's Parliamentarians Association.
ESO Parliamentary Group.
Okabe Parliamentary Group. Busoga Parliamentary Group. West Nile Parliamentary Caucus. Karamoja Parliamentary Group. Uganda Parliamentary Group. Chigezi Parliamentary Forum.
It's a whole region. Hey, where have you been? Region. Are you also new? The neighbors.
Bunyoro Parliamentary Group. Butaleja Parliamentary Group. Butaleja Parliamentary Group. Butaleja Parliamentary Group. Ankole Parliamentary Caucus. To be followed by Acholi Parliamentary Group. Acholi Parliamentary Group. Workers' representatives. Workers' MPs. To be followed by independents. Independents. To be followed by Chair Uwopa. Chairperson Uwopa.
Sorry, Right Honorable, this is a wreath on behalf of the Parliamentary Forum on Road Safety. Sorry.
to be followed by Bugisu Parliamentary Group. Honorable Chemonges William. To be followed by Honorable Eda Kasi. Alfred. To be followed by Uganda Catholic Parliamentarians, Catholic Chaplaincy. The Catholic Chaplaincy. To be followed by Sebei Parliamentary Group. Sebei Parliamentary Group. Parliamentary Circle. Parliamentary Circle. National Resistance Movement Parliamentary Caucus. NRM Caucus. NRM Caucus.
Honorable members, thank you so much for laying your wreath. And thank you for the solidarity. In the VIP gallery this afternoon, we have Honorable Werike Michael and Honorable Koma Ketch. They've come to witness the proceedings of today as we pay tribute to our beloved brother. We also have the presiding Bishop Emiao Simon Peter, the Bishop of PAG. Most welcome. He's here to join us. We have in the VIP gallery, we have Honorable Captain Etiquette John Milley. John Milley, welcome. We have Honorable Amoy Judith Mariam. Welcome. We have a SEC member, Honorable Lydia Wanyoto. Most welcome. SEC of NRM. We have Honorable Dr. Appetite Francis. You're most welcome. Thank you for joining us. We also have condolence messages that have been brought. We may not be able to read them. We have a condolence message from the Vice President of Uganda, Honorable Jessica, Major Retired Jessica Alupo, the Member of Parliament of Katakwi, representing the people of Katakwi. Thank you for the message. And enclosed in the message is 5 million shillings. Thank you so much, the Vice President. We have a message, a condolence message from the NRM National Resistance Secretariat, signed by Honorable Lydia Wanyoto Mutende. We want to thank you for the message. Thank you so much. We have a message from the Forum of Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Malaria, signed by Honorable Mooma Milton Kalulu. Thank you so much for the message. We have a condolence message from Uganda Parliamentary Cooperative Savings and Credit Society Limited, that's the SACCO. Enclosed is 1 million shillings and signed by Honorable Migade, the chairperson. We have a message from the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda of 10 million shillings. We have a message from TESO Parliamentary Group of 37 million shillings. We have a message from Uganda Parliamentary Group of 1 million shillings. Thank you so much. We have a message from the woman member of Parliament of Bukedea, Anita, of 20 million shillings. Thank you so much for all your contributions, and may the good Lord reward you abundantly.
Item 5, motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honorable Okabe Patrick, former Member of Parliament for Serere County, Serere District.
Honorable members, as you are aware, our Administration of Parliament Act provides for paying tribute and supporting the families of the sitting members of Parliament. And Honorable Okabe has been a sitting member of Parliament. The issue of the welfare of a sitting member of Parliament is covered for under the Administration of Parliament Act. And as a member of Parliament who is sitting a new person while in the House, Parliament will always take charge and take control of whatever in terms of all the burial expenses Parliament of Uganda will always do, and it's provided for. In whichever budget that you approve those funds. But in this scenario, we have a scenario where we have two bodies lying. We have our own member of Parliament who is with his beloved wife. And I want this House to allow that we as Parliament of Uganda still take charge of the wife's burial. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it that will bury the two bodies together as Parliament of Uganda. The wife is equal our wife. We are going to get a motion from the Prime Minister. Please, Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I move under Rule 56 of our Rules of Procedure to move a motion for Parliament to resolve to pay tribute to the late Honorable Bishop Patrick Okabe for his dedicated service to the Republic of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, whereas the Parliament of Uganda received with deep sorrow the sad news of the death of Honorable Bishop Patrick Okabe, Member of Parliament for Serere County, who died together with his dear wife, Mrs. Christine Okabe, in a motor accident along Mbale Tirinyi Road on Monday, 19th December this year. Aware that Honorable Patrick Okabe has had a distinguished career serving in various capacities, both spiritual and political, in Uganda, including a Member of Parliament for Serere County in the 10th and 11th Parliament, where he served as a member of the Committee of Public Accounts, that is central government, in the 11th Parliament, a member of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government in the 11th Parliament, and a chairperson, TESO Parliamentary Group in the 10th Parliament, the Bishop at Impact Ministries in Mbale City, and the proprietor of Rema High School in Soroti, and the Faith Radio Station, a Christian-based radio station in Mbale City. Appreciating that Honorable Bishop Patrick Okabe was a diligent leader who served his country with devotion and integrity, and strongly advocated for women economic empowerment, human rights, and the fight against malaria in Uganda. Further appreciating that as a devoted Christian, faithful, Honorable Bishop Okabe greatly contributed to the promotion and observance of Christian values of love, peace, faithfulness, ethics, integrity, generosity, hope, and respect as a means of transforming the lives of Ugandans. Now, therefore, honorable colleagues, be it resolved that Parliament collectively conveys its deep condolences to the bereaved family, relatives, friends, and the people of Uganda for the loss of a distinguished citizen in this country. Number two, Parliament takes cognizance of the immense contribution that Honorable Bishop Okabe has rendered to Parliament and the people of Uganda. Right, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. Is the motion seconded? The motion is seconded by Ibanda, by Kakembo, by Kaberuka, Leader of Opposition, Chairperson Park. That's Honorable Segona. Honorable Elijah, Honorable Polot, Honorable Dakas, the whole house, including the Vice President of Uganda and the Attorney General. Prime Minister, would you love to justify your motion?
Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, this is the justification for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honorable Okabe Patrick, Member of Parliament, Serere County. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, on Monday 19th this month and this year, the country woke up to the sad news of the passing of Honorable Okabe Patrick, Member of Parliament, Serere County, which occurred at 5 a.m. in a motor accident at Naboa along Tirinyi Road in the Budaka district. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, we mourn and celebrate the life of a distinguished, God-fearing, a man of God, and a Ugandan politician. He is remembered for leading a crusade to foster unity and the harmony among TESO members of Parliament. At a time, he was elected a leader of TESO parliamentary group. His patience and cooperation with members of TESO parliamentary group began to yield gains when he initiated a welfare fund for his colleagues to support each other in situations like this. A good representation to his people made him get re-elected to represent the people of Serere County in the 11th Parliament, a term he has passed on while serving. During his second term in Parliament, he has been serving on the Committee of Public Accounts Committee, Central Government, and a member of the Appointment Committee of Parliament. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Honorable Okabe was born on 28th November 1958 to retired Reverend Mesulam Abiret and Naire Rusi. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Honorable Okabe went to Atira Primary School and completed the Primary 7 in 1972. Thereafter, he was admitted in IL College for ordinary level and sat for Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education in 1976. He joined the Bible Training School or Bible Training Center and graduated with advanced diploma in Bible theology from Pentecostal Training Center. In 1990, he took a bachelor's degree in theology from Pan-African Christian College. He holds a master's degree in divinity from Nairobi Evangelical Graduate School of Theology. In 2018, he was awarded a PhD in leadership from the University of America. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, he worked closely with the Emorimor, the Itesot cultural leader, Bishop Okire of the Anglican Church, the late Paul Etiang, Honorable Frederick Angura, and other Tororo leaders. His Excellency the President of Uganda and several cabinet ministers to bring unity, harmony, and development in TESO region. Right Honorable Speaker, he commanded respect among his fellow pastors, with whom he has been leading as bishop and working with Bishop Edwell, Bishop Eitu, and other prominent pastors in Teso region to strengthen unity, harmony, and development in the Teso sub-region and Uganda at large. Honorable Speaker and colleagues, Honorable Okabe has been developmental and served as managing director with Serere Farmers Support Center in the year 2018-2021. He was also a devout Christian and served as managing director, Voice of Serere FM and Faith Radio in 2006-2021, and the director, Impact Schools Limited from the year 2002 to 2021, director Rema High School in 2007 to 2017, and the director, that is overseer Impact Ministries Uganda 1991 to 2021. His love for serving God was untiring. Being a son to the retired reverend, he helped him to get closer to understanding the virtues of a region and how several issues would be resolved through unity and harmony that he has exhibited throughout his life. He has been married to Christian Okabe, with whom they have survived with 2 children. Honorable Speaker, we wish to extend our sincere sympathies and condolences to the bereaved family, friends, Teso region, and the people of Uganda. May the Almighty God grant his soul eternal peace. Honorable Speaker, I beg to justify.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister, for that message. Maybe just for a correction of the record, the late Okabe had 5 children that we know of. He had 5 children that we know of. The 2 are so far here. Others are on the way coming over. Thank you so much. Leader of Opposition. And in our culture in Teso, you don't count children.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is with utmost humility that I rise to second the motion raised by my honorable sister, the Prime Minister, in support of the resolution to pay tribute to our fallen comrade, the Honorable Bishop Okabe Patrick, whom we sadly lost in an accident together with his dear wife, Christine, on the morning of December 19th, 2022. Honorable Speaker, I extend my sincere commiserations to the family, friends, the people of Serere County, the Itesot community generally, and the entire country. Honorable Speaker, I got to know the late from the 10th Parliament, as ably described by the Honorable Prime Minister, a very amiable character, very unassuming, but present in all forms. I vividly correct Right Honorable Speaker that him and other colleagues founded the Parliamentary Malaria Forum, and he was the treasurer of the forum. Unfortunately, or fortunately, he's the only one who survived from the 10th Parliament to the 8th Parliament from the forum leaders. The rest were eaten by political malaria. They never transited to the 11th Parliament. So he survived. And yes, I'm not discouraging the current members of the forum. You can survive like him. Let us, I rise here to pay tribute to a man who believed in the politics of sanity, and a man who was a deep peacemaker in his life. And his impeccable character as a man of God will live to inspire those who knew him and followed him as a peacemaker, a theologian, a moralist, and a leader. That Honorable Speaker, I recollect vividly his very firm commitment to health. And in one of our deliberations on the budget, we had a standoff on the health budget in the 10th Parliament. You recollect that we even deferred the passing of the national budget until we had an increment on the health budget. And he was one of the most vocal speakers that day. As part of keeping his memory in our midst, it says, well, good that we are in the budget process. We need to look at what it means to live up to the Abuja 2001 declaration of at least 15% of the national budget on health as part of serving his memory as a man who dared when many feared to speak about the impossibilities. Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would like to extend my sympathy to the family, but thank God that the children, at least like you have observed, we know, are adults and well-schooled. They live to be challenged, to live in the footsteps of their father. It's so sad that we even lost the mother. The challenge is even bigger, but I want to comfort you and the people of Teso that it's not insurmountable for you to rise and even be better than him, because you live in times where you can look up to him. If he struggled, you are not struggling. If we really figure out impossibilities, you live with the possibilities around you. I'd like to once again applaud him and thank him posthumously for being a man he was, and it still is in our midst. Honorable Speaker, lastly, that he died in an accident is also a moment for us to reflect. We do not have in our possession details of the nature of accident. But again, the narrowness of our roads remains an eyesore in our midst, right, Honorable Speaker and colleagues. And I hope when the House resumes after recess, the Prime Minister and her team will have the courtesy of reporting on action taken on our resolution on the road fund, right, Honorable Speaker. A matter on which they rather, not report about, but our roads are a death trap. They are extremely narrow, and there's no doubt the volume of traffic on our roads continues to grow, and the roads continue to decay. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'd like to again thank the Prime Minister for the motion and the House for gathering to pay tribute to our own. It's a huge loss, and it must humble all of us, servants of the people, to serve above partisanship and beyond the issue that divides us as individuals and serve country. We thank you, Bishop, for service to the country. We thank you for your humility and your ability to reach out to all of us, regardless of creed, political persuasion, and age. May you rest in eternity. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition, Government Chief, Dean of Independence, Honorable Zijan. The late was an independent,
Thank you.
but aligned to NRM.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to second the motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honorable Okabe Patrick, former Member of Parliament for Serere County, Serere District. Right Honorable Speaker, this sitting today is not what any one of us would have expected. That our colleague, an amiable man, would now be laying before us. Death is wasteful. Bishop Okabe has been a very resourceful person and citizen of our country. But it is the harsh reality of life. The life of mortals is like grass. They flourish like a flower of the field. The wind blows over it, and it's gone, and its place remembers it no more. Here we are now, saying he was. There is never a time in life when we are ready when death strikes. It's always painful. Life is short, and we depart. The psalmist couldn't have put it any better. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Okabe knew this, and he harnessed the wisdom of God. He lived by the conviction that longevity of life is not in the number of days lived, but in the quality of the life in the days lived. Honorable Okabe did not count days. He made the days count. He did not live for himself alone, but for many, especially the orphaned, vulnerable, and deprived of our society. This can be witnessed by his foundation, which has reached out to many orphans and vulnerable children of our country. As such, he has left a better country than he inherited. He has lived a life of impact and stood for and by his convictions, especially the right appropriation of government resources for the benefit of the taxpayer. If you go through the Hansard and read and study his submissions, his heart beat for a government that cares for the taxpayer and the right appropriation of resources. As independents of this House, Right Honorable Speaker, we are proud of our colleague, Honorable Bishop Dr. Okabe Patrick. And we have no doubt that his soul, even now, rests in eternal peace. And Right Honorable Speaker, with your wise guidance, I'm not sure if it wouldn't be proper that I invoke, that you invoke Rule 61 of our rules, as I seek an amendment to what would be the prayers of the motion moved, to include the prevalence of a government to reinstate the enforcement of speed governors in this country. And this is not to insinuate that the bishop was in any way overspeeding at all. But Right Honorable Speaker, just last week, we lost 84 citizens of this country. And I may not know the statistics of how many of those were as a result of speed or overspeeding. So if it may please you, Right Honorable Speaker, that the motion would be amended to include in the prayers prevalence of a government to reinstate the enforcement of speed governors. May the honorable colleague now departed rest in eternal peace. I thank you, Right Honorable.
Thank you so much, Dean of Independence. He's bringing an amendment to the motion. Is that amendment seconded? Is it seconded? Honorable members, the enforcement of speedy governance is just one of the regulations that is in the law. So what we just need to do is enforceability of the laws that we have. So we need to make sure that the Ministry of Works, you need to enforce the laws. Honorable members, you've heard the secondment has been done. Can I hear from the chairman of PAC where the late has been a member?
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you very much. Colleagues, I rise to support the motion put forward by the Right Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Prime Minister of this country, and to thank her as well as the seconder. Again, we stand here in the presence of God to celebrate another life. I've consistently said that when people die and they are not men of straw, as we call them in law, we do not mourn them. We celebrate them. The Honorable Okabe is one of those that we must celebrate. Why? Because he was gifted and he knew how to use his talent as given to him by God. Of course, the double tragedy of losing a father and mother in an accident cannot be over-explained. You would perfectly understand. As said by the leader of the opposition, we worked tirelessly with the late Honorable Okabe in the 10th Parliament when we were pushing for the rejection of the budget on matters of health especially. And because of his sober voice, he was saying, no, let's not use the word reject the budget. He said, the budget is our own. We can make amendments and modifications here and there. Some of us wanted to push forcefully. And he said, no, let's not use force. Let's negotiate. And I asked him a question, negotiate until when? He said, until we get there. I live to remember with fondness those words. Because when we negotiated and negotiated, we got there. As colleagues appreciate, the Honorable Okabe was posted to the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government. I did not see him for long, and I had to look for him. I called him and said, please come. Why are you not attending meetings? Is it because you don't like me? He said, Chairman, before I answer, can we pray? He said, I know you to be Christian. Why do you want to go straight into the conversation without praying? And we prayed. He led the prayer, of course, being a pastor, and I'm a lay Christian. And one of the things he said in the prayer, I remember, is that God gives us the wisdom to walk out of that meeting united. Of course, we were not disunited in any way. So after the prayer, I asked him, what is the problem? He told me so many things. But above all, he said, I want to apologize to you that I have not been able to attend meetings. It's because of those things. And I noticed the humility in the man, because I think he was everything better than me. He was experienced in many things. We want to say we will miss him, but we believe that he's living in faith. Because he accepted Christ as a personal savior, I know physically he's gone from us, and we have all reasons to mourn. But we believe truly that he lives and that one day we'll meet him at a dinner in the presence of our Redeemer. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Segona. When you look at the death of Honorable Okabe, it reminds you about our own legacies. What is that you'll be remembered for? Will you be missed like Okabe if you went tomorrow? And our deeds speak more than anything. When you look at 2 Corinthians, it says they share freely and give generously to the poor. And that's what Honorable Okabe was known for. You'll find he has an orphanage school, orphanage home, and all that. And as legislators, I implore you to have that heart, a heart that gives, and there's a blessing in giving than receiving. Chairperson, I'm coming back to the minister. I want to the chairperson, human rights. The two committees where the Honorable Okabe was, then I'll come to the Minister of Trade Affairs. I don't know, does the Vice President, sorry, can we first hear from the Vice President?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand here to support the motion moved by the Right Honorable Prime Minister Robin Anabanja to pay a glowing tribute to our departed brother, the Honorable Patrick Okabe, the former Member of Parliament for Serere County. Right Honorable Speaker, let me, on behalf of His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and Mama Janet Kataha Museveni, the First Lady, and also on my behalf, express sincere condolences to the family of the late Patrick Okabe, Honorable, and the people of Serere County, and all colleagues here present, and also those who may be watching us, and the entire people of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand here to say kind words about a brother who I know loved Teso and the culture of Teso. He loved his party, the NRM. He loved his God very vehemently, and he loved the country, loved his country. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Patrick Okabe was a very distinguished leader who served without discrimination. He served the children, he served the widows, he served the elderly, served the women, served the men, and in all their colors, regardless of their party affiliation or their creed. The fraternity of the religious leaders, he will be dearly missed because he was a religious leader who could easily work with anybody. And his mission on evangelization was spread and intended to benefit everybody, regardless of their denomination. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Okabe, as you may also know, was a very key and strong pillar in the NRM party in terms of mobilization, but also in offering leadership at all levels to guide the people. Madam Speaker, he was a national leader and was nationalist. A clear demonstration that we shall in this house miss him, and all the people of Uganda will miss him. I would like to implore colleagues here, in order to carry his legacy forward, to borrow a leaf from those very good practices which he used to extend to the members of the population, so that we can keep his name amongst us and carry forward his duties. I would like to appeal to the family to get comfort in the Lord. And I will particularly leave you with the verse in the Bible, which is in the book of the Romans, chapter 8, verse 37 to 39. And in summary, it says that nothing can separate us from the love of God. As we mourn our departed colleague, I would like the family to note that nothing can separate them from the love of God. And nothing can separate all of us grieving here from the love of God. I leave all of us with that verse in the Bible. Madam Speaker, I would like also to state that may the soul of the departed brother, Honorable Patrick Okabe, rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vice President, for those kind words. As we are here in this house, what is that you will have learned from all what has been said, or all what is being said about Patrick Okabe? Yes. Members will try to be brief. Everybody wants to speak.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, like the Honorable Segona, who had the privilege of being a chairperson to the Honorable Bishop Okabe, let me begin by confirming that the Honorable Okabe was a much better citizen than all of us in this house. Right Honorable Speaker, the word decency can be attributed to the person of the late Honorable Okabe. Not many politicians are decent human beings, but I can confirm that the Honorable Okabe was a decent human being. I had the privilege of being his chairperson, but he had the obligation of being my permanent counselor, a teacher, and I learned many things from him. You know, I am not a particularly very moral person, but the late Okabe's foundation in morality was a permanent compass to look into. Right Honorable Speaker, in Africa, when a person passes on, we have a tradition of saying good things about them. But I will confirm that every good thing said about Okabe today was deserved. He earned it. We are not only praising him because it's a matter of culture, we are only stating facts. In September this year, Right Honorable, you may remember, you sent the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs to Teso Sub-Region. We had the privilege of having lunch at a facility owned by the Honorable Okabe. And we were all challenged the developments he had put up in his constituency. And the people of Serere fondly referred to him as the lion of Serere. Right Honorable Speaker, there lies the lion of Serere. We shall dearly miss him. We shall miss his modesty, his decency, and may the Almighty Lord grant him eternal peace.
Thank you so much. And as he says, he may be better than most of us. Not all of us, most of us. The decency aspect is really very crucial. As leaders, we need to be decent both inside and out. And that's why I keep admiring my young brother, KK. I love your decency. Chairman, Minister, Teso Parliamentary. Teso Affairs. Minister, Teso Affairs.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for granting me this opportunity to pay tribute to a great man, a great friend, and a leader who truly loved these people. Madam Speaker, on Monday, 19th of December, we all woke up to the tragic news of the demise of Honorable Okabe in a road accident. All of us, Madam Speaker, were paralyzed. We took very long to decide on what course of action to take. And this is why, even though this is a motion to pay tribute to our late colleague, but it is also a testament to your generosity, to your big heart, and to the love that you really have for people. By the time we woke up from our slumber and decided to take action, the Right Honorable Speaker had already taken possession not only of the body of our colleague, but had also made a decision that his wife, Christine, must be treated with the same dignity. I want to thank you because at that point, everybody was talking about Honorable Okabe. Everybody. And we seemed not to realize that there was also a wife lying next to him. Honorable colleagues, I want you to appreciate the difficulty that the speaker faced that day of having to make decisions without the ability to consult anybody. Normally, you will consult a spouse of the deceased. But in this case, every time we needed to consult, we realized this spouse was also dead, and none of the children was in the country. Nobody. And yet decisions had to be made. And this is why I want to send this message to those who are listening out there, that we took decisions in the best interest of everybody, the family, and also in consideration of Parliament and the rules that govern it. I want that to be very clearly known. Right Honorable Speaker, Bishop Okabe was my friend, a very personal friend. And in part, I think because we shared a lot in common. We were all children of reverends. We grew up in the church. We were third borns of our families. All our families were very large. And the two of us also happened to be the ones who had somehow, for whatever reason, risen above the rest. And so we had that burden of carrying the rest of the families on our shoulders. Bishop Okabe was born in a family of 16 children, none of them twins. They're all 16. The mother is here and the father is here. And he worked so hard to ensure that whatever came his way was always felt by his family. His father and his mother will tell you that because of Bishop Okabe, I usually laugh at Reverend. You probably don't know it, but I know you as Mr. Thanksgiving from the time when you attacked the bishop that he didn't give you a Thanksgiving. But Honorable Okabe made sure that every day of his father's life was a Thanksgiving. And I want to appreciate him for that. He loved to give. Nothing pleased Honorable Okabe than to see the pleasure in your face when you appreciated what he had done. And that is why his ministry was about giving. He was not interested in fundraising for building churches. He was interested in fundraising so as to facilitate savings groups. He had village savings groups. When he fundraised a few weeks ago, his money went to village savings groups. And by the time he died, all the villages in his constituency had benefited with 1 million shillings from Bishop Okabe. That is the kind of person he was. And he had expanded this even to the Iteso Cultural Union. He had wanted to begin a savings for every clan with the idea in mind, which I am sure you will all appreciate, that it is embarrassing for a clan to even fail to bury their dead. Every time someone dies, inform the MP, inform so he wanted these clans to be empowered so that they could go back to the time when clans had felt dignity when they had tragedy, instead of exposing their weaknesses by borrowing and begging. So he was really a great man. He cared about the welfare of others. I felt so bad for him in the last term when he helped us, members of TESO parliamentary group, to save a lot of money, which money enabled some of us to win primaries, but then he lost. I felt so bad. But he was not robbed. I want to tell you, I spoke to Bishop Okabe, and this speaks to you. This tells you
Honorable, can
about
you speak to the motion?
he
Whether he
was,
was robbed or not was in parliament.
I wanted to correct this.
No,
The honorable member
he
said
wasn't robbed. He preferred to be an independent.
he was an independent member of parliament who believed that service to his people did not depend on which side of the house he sat on. As I conclude, Madam Speaker, I had a lot of meals. I had a lot of meals with Bishop Okabe, and he had a prayer before every meal. He would always remind me that let us pray. And it was a very short prayer. And it went like this: bless this food for our use and make us ever mindful of the needs of other people. Always, the needs of other people was central in his mind. He was a great man, and I believe, as we are told in Romans 14, 7-9, we don't live by ourselves, we don't die to ourselves, we live in the Lord, and we die in the Lord. And just as the Lord died and rose and revived, that he might be both the Lord of death and of living, Bishop Okabe and his wife Christine live with the Lord now. I was saddened, but also oddly, it just looked so correct when we went to City Mortuary to identify the bodies, and Bishop Okabe was rolled out. And then shortly after that, the wife was also brought in agony, and they lay there side by side, both of them dead in a very horrible accident. But God had spared their faces. They had clean faces, and they looked so peaceful. They looked so peaceful, I must say, oddly, that they actually looked beautiful. It is a very sad thing to say, but that is what I saw. May they rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ongalo. Kinkizi, ICT, then I come over. ICT, Bunyoro Works, disaster. Then I come back to Honorable Samuel.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I join the rest of the House to support the motion and convey condolences to the family. I convey condolences to the people of Teso, including the members of parliament, Teso parliamentary group, and the wise people of Eastern Uganda, because the Bible says the wise men and women came from the East. The Bible, the writers of the Bible were not very gender sensitive. I think you can say the wise men and women came from the East. So we convey our condolences. But of course, we remind ourselves that the wise men and women came from the East to see a great man in the West. But yes. Yes. Because they were going to see Jesus, and the description of East means they were going to the West. But on behalf of the people of Chinchiz East and Kanungu, and on behalf of the NRM party, we convey our deep condolences. It's not very easy to go through a situation where you lose your father and your mother at the same time. So the children, we feel for you. We know what you are going through, but we pray that the good Lord gives you strength and comforts you so that you are able to go through these difficult times. In the 9th Parliament, I served as the parliamentary commissioner together with the Honorable Cooper and the others. One of the most painful things we used to go through was during the budgeting process, when we had to handle an item, how many members of parliament do we budget for, who will die in the period when we are here? And it's a subject none of us was comfortable handling. And we would put it 4 to 5 because we had to budget, but you can't know who exactly will consume that budget. I pray the good Lord that the Honorable Okabe becomes the last person we come here to pay tribute to in this 11th Parliament. But those are our wishes, the rest we leave to God. At 64 years, the Honorable Patrick was still young by all standards, because even the Holy Books say our span is 70 years or 80 for those who are strong. But he has died at a young age. Like one colleague said, the English say, what matters is not the number of years in your life, but the life in your years. At 64 years, Honorable Okabe has done his work on this earth, and he has been successful. We could give tribute until cows come home, because we have been with him in this house. We know how he behaved, a very humble servant of God, a person who touched everybody, very down to earth, loving and lovable. We really greatly miss him, but those are God's plans. So we pray that the Lord receives him and gives him a comfortable seat in heaven and intercedes for us, because all of us, that's where we shall end up. The bishop died of a road traffic accident. When I watch some of the pictures, it's as if a speeding truck invaded his vehicle and hit it. When I used to work in the medical, when I was in medical practice, around these days of Christmas is when you receive very many victims of accidents and gender-based violence victims in hospitals because people celebrate, they overdrink and fight and so forth. But notably, there are many accidents. We would want to appeal to all of us and all Ugandans following this discussion that we are entering into Christmas season, which will usher us into a new year. Let us drive responsibly on our roads. Let us celebrate responsibly so that all of us can be able to enter into the new year when we are alive. Finally, I also wish to dedicate a Bible verse to the members of the family, which is recorded in the books of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, that says, put all your trust in God and do not lean on your own understanding. And in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall be able to protect your path. Therefore, this has happened. It is very tragic, very sad, difficult to accommodate in your lives, but put all your trust in God. He will give you all the comfort. May the soul of our brother, Bishop Honorable Patrick, rest in eternal peace, and may the good Lord continue to comfort members of the family. I thank you very much. Right, Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you. Thank you so much, Honorable Chris. I want to re-echo what the Minister of Justice was saying on the decision that was taken in the absence of the family. When you enter politics, you become a member of parliament, you become a property of government of Uganda. The government will always make decisions for and on behalf of your families. We are sorry for not directly involving the family members. They were out of the country, but the decision was taken in good faith. We want to give a decent send-off to our colleague, our friend, our brother. Honorable Bunyoro. Members, we take 2 minutes and so that everybody speaks.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I stand here to register my condolences, the condolences of the people of Chibuku and Bunyoro.
Honorable members, before you go, I want to let you know there is a sitting tomorrow. We are going to receive the budget framework paper tomorrow.
Right Honorable, my condolences to the family, to the people of Serere, Teso, and Uganda generally. Honorable Okabe was a statesman, a man who towed the mass line, supporting the vulnerable, supporting the people who needed help. Right Honorable, I had an opportunity last term to go to Serere at the invitation of Honorable Adoa to celebrate Women's Day. We went in a chopper, but we found Honorable Okabe had organized the women, had offered transport to them, had even provided gifts. He had provided support to these women. I looked at him as somebody who is really a God-given leader. Because sometimes when we organize celebrations for women, it's left to the women. But also is somebody who has put up development, radio stations. Maybe would be using them to campaign, but he has used them to educate people, to sensitize the masses. He had a constituency, would have limited the development to his own constituency, but he went beyond that.
Thank you, Bunyoro. Condolence message from Team 317, the historicals.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to pay tribute to the Lord Honorable Patrick Okabe and his dear wife. Right Honorable Speaker, we are paying tribute to a very sophisticated grassroots mobilizer. A very sophisticated grassroots mobilizer. We are paying tribute to a unifier. We are paying tribute to a spiritual leader. We are paying tribute to a legislator. And above all, we are paying tribute to a parent. Right Honorable, let me say something about the sophisticated mobilization. A few weeks ago, you were kind, Right Honorable Speaker, to assign me to go and represent you in the function of this man now lying here, where he was giving resources, money to the rural poor for the circles that have been described very ably by the Minister of External Affairs. I can confess here that the level of organization of some of the circle groups beat those that sometimes were organized as a government. They beat those that were organized as a government, either through a Mioga, and the level of organization, a sophisticated grassroots mobilizer. Right Honorable Speaker, in 2016, I had not known Doctor very well until 2016, when he came to Parliament, 10th Parliament. We went to Chankwazi, as we always go as members of Parliament, to reorganize ourselves and see what to do here. While there, we decided as a TRESO group to caucus a bit and see who could lead the organization of TRESO. Honorable Speaker, we sat, Okabe was new, but in him, the little time we interacted, we saw this would be the man who could unify the TRESO parliamentary group. We elected him in Chankwasi. When we came back here, we confirmed him, and I can testify to this distinguished audience here. Okabe brought unity to the TRESO parliamentary group and brought trust among the members. Right Honorable Speaker, we have missed. He was not outspoken. Like you correctly observed in the house here, I think the leader of opposition, you may not even notice Okabe is here, but Okabe was present in TESO, Okabe was present in Serere. And I really want to say, it is sad he has died in a road accident. Many colleagues have talked about road accidents and what we intend to do. I don't think it is enough for me to say here what we intend to do, but I want to suffice to say it here. A few days ago, my senior colleague, General Katumba Amala, read to the country a few guidelines that we want the people to follow as we now go to our festive season. But we are going to come back to this house and tell the house a number of interventions that we propose, including sometimes touching on the legislation again to reinforce what we want to do so that we can make our roads safer. Right Honorable Speaker, may the souls of these distinguished leaders, Dr. Okabe and his dear wife, rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Minister of Works. Reading the guidelines alone may not be enough. You need to do continuous awareness on the guidelines that are passed. The problem we have in this country that we pass laws and the laws are not popularized. We need to popularize most of these laws, the regulations, the guidelines, so that people get to know. Honorable Nyakun, Honorable Samo.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I join the rest of the colleagues here to pay tribute to our colleague, to a brother, a nephew. Colleagues used to call me Ija. And Ija means auntie. The people of Karamoja happen to be aunties and uncles of the people of Teso. I have known Okabe for the last 7 years. To be honest, he was a very humble person. He was a man of dignity and integrity. He would not fight for space like some of us used to. He would leave you to pass and he comes after. But what beats my understanding? A peculiar leader who could balance the church. He could balance politics. He could balance family. Where do we find those kind of people? Okabe had qualities which were God-given, because he was able to lead all the churches. He has a church in my constituency. He has been coming there annually to pray with the people on some functions. But you know, even at our own responsibility, balancing all those institutions is very difficult. Sometimes you give up at some point, but he did not. But they say in the Bible that that is where we are all going to go. Of comfort. It will be said here, it will be said way back at home. There will be kind words, they will be sincere and true. But members, it can't take away the emptiness that Okabe has caused in his church, in this house, and in his family. Even the people he has been serving in Serere, for us who have known him, the emptiness will never be covered. Nobody can cover that emptiness. You know, here, I could not stop even crying. How can someone die just like that? The wife dies at the same time. And then you're expecting people to reconcile this in the shortest time? It's very, very painful. Okabe was not a person to die just like that, members. I liked him as a person. Just imagine how many people are going to cry for him. The people of my people in Akapripit who he has been praying for are really crying. Now imagine people in Akapripit crying for him. What about the people of Serere? The people of Mbale, the Christians? May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you so much, and we'll always respect the late Patrick Okabe for keeping his lane. Don't forget that you can only occupy space that you can occupy. Don't want to get space for more than one person. You may not be able to swallow it. Occupy only, move within your lane. Honorable Polot Serere. Hey, Honorable Samu, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to pay my condolences to the family. Right Honorable Speaker, you are aware that I come from Serere. And in Serere, I want first of all to thank you for taking responsibility to ensure that our brother was brought to the mortuary. I also want to thank the honorable members of parliament. We thought it was going to be an empty house. We thank you for coming to pay tribute to this big man. Right, Honorable Speaker, in the 10th Parliament, I was the chairperson of the Equal Opportunities Committee, and I worked with Okabe for 5 years. This man lying here was a unifier. He was not a man of intrigue. As politicians, we have intrigue, but Okabe never had it. Never. Whether there was a problem talked about him, he will come and say, my sister, what is the problem? And he wants it sorted. He was an administrator. On 17th, I think we're almost all in Serere. I was with Honorable Okupa in his constituency. Honorable Polot was in Pingire, and Honorable Okabe was in Serere. And he was telling the people, the money I've given you for saving, don't eat it for Christmas. Please keep it for the future. He had promised to go back to his constituency to do what the president always talks about, income in the family and production. He had promised to take back seeds for cassava. He had promised to take women pigs, because that project started in the last parliament, some piglets to give every family. This was a man who was thinking of everybody. You had a problem, Okabe will come to you. I remember when the right honorable speaker here was standing, he mobilized us as it is so. And he said, Honorable Asami, IBJ, in after just a statement. And he told me, are you steady? Like he's a soldier. Then I told him, yes, I'm steady. Then he said, thank you so much in Ateso. And this was a man who would talk up.
Switch on.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say that he loved his clan, he loved Iteso, he loved everybody. I remember when Honorable Galwango had problems, Okabe told me, that is my daughter. And I said, what is this? What kind of man is this? We went home in Tororo. He sat in my sitting room and said, my daughter, next time bring members to Serere, I want to host you. Every time you are in Serere, he wanted to host members of parliament, host visitors. He will make sure he uses this money without paying. And the man could contribute to every function that happened in a place. If you approached him, you'll find the man there. No wonder people have come to pay tribute. Right Honorable Speaker, may God bless you. You have taken responsibility where there was nobody. When I saw the wife and the wife dead and Okabe on one side, I said, who do we ask for clothes? Who do we ask for ABCD? The family which was coming from Serere got an accident again in Kumi. We said, what is happening? What Kisiran is this? When we had the mother had collapsed, I said, I think things are getting hard. We stood with Honorable Bote and the team from Teso Parliamentary Group. With your guidance, Right Honorable Speaker, we have moved. And I want to thank you that we now see the light of the road. At the end of the day, people in Serere are waiting and they are mourning. The gap will not be filled. Rest well, my brother, till we meet again. Yalama.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Polot. Serere.
May I, first of all, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for your effective response. Right from when the news broke of the demise of our friend, Right Honorable Okabe and his wife. Right Honorable Speaker, the people of Pingere are in mourning. The people of Serere are in mourning. The people of Mbale are in mourning, and indeed, the whole country is mourning this illustrious son of Uganda who approached life, as we all know, and has already been said, with humility. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Kabe's approach to politics was one of transforming the ordinary person. As indeed already said, he supported multitudes of circles in Serere County. And to be specific, he supported 160 circles, of which he launched 85 of them. And in the new year, the coming year, 2023, he was actually planning to complete launching the rest with 1 million shillings each circle with a savings box. Right Honorable Speaker, he also supported the Girls Brigade in his constituency with 20.
Honorable Galwango.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand to support the motion. And I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional because Honorable Kabe has been my spiritual father and one of my mentors spiritually. Right Honorable Speaker, Papa lying there is a great loss the people of Mbale City, because most of his projects were in Mbale City. And his family, his wife was staying in Mbale City. Honorable Speaker, at this moment in time, it may be even difficult to describe the person lying before us. He was such a humble man that whenever he would find me, even in Parliament here, he would say, "Yes, daughter, how are you now?" He's one of the people who prayed for me before I came to Parliament. And indeed, he had never disowned me up to date when he has passed on. He has been a man of development. Given the fact that he has a school, Impact Ministries, there is a school, an orphanage in Mbale City, where he collects all the disadvantaged children so that they get good education. And in that church, he has many people he has taken care of. Indeed, from
Honorable Nandoto.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I would also like to join the rest of the colleagues to pay tribute to Honorable Okabe. But first of all, Right Honorable, I want to thank you for taking the decision that you took to have the dear one of Honorable Okabe buried in the same honor like our honorable member. We want to thank you for that. When Honorable Okabe came to Parliament, I had been expelled from this place. And therefore, I did not have a lot of time to interact with him. But when I joined the 11th Parliament, I found this man so friendly. One time I had lunch with him somewhere, with some members of Parliament when he was organizing his fundraising function. And he briefed me how he worked in his constituency, that he worked so hard and could not believe that people would let him down during primaries. But when he lost, he told me he picked the courage to go to the people and mobilized in the last time. And indeed, people realized that what this man had done for us, we cannot let him down. And they voted him as an independent member of Parliament. Many have talked about him as a servant of God. He used all his abilities to serve God through his communication ministry, through as a politician and as a preacher. He preached many souls. And indeed, he fulfilled the word of God in the Bible, that faith without action is nothing. But he did act and served the people. And as I wind up, honorable members, this man lying us before us here has died in Christ. And we believe he's going to live with Christ. And I want to implore all of you that as we pay tribute to our honorable member, may you take this opportunity and reflect and also receive Jesus Christ as your personal savior. I thank you. May his soul rest in peace.
Akembo. Mbwa. Honorable members, I'll give all of you a minute.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, I rise to join my colleagues. Firstly, supporting the motion moved by the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and also convey our heartfelt condolence to the family. on behalf of the people of Entebbe and the Teso community in Entebbe, accept our heartfelt condolence to the family, honorable colleagues, and to you, Right Honorable Speaker, Papa Imolmol, and the entire Teso community for the loss of this great man. I'm one of the freshers in Parliament, so I didn't know much about him. But I've appreciated all the comments, all the good words, all the good deeds that have been said about this great man of God. Indeed, we are celebrating his life. We want to thank God for the gift of Patrick Okabe to this nation. We want to thank God as we glorify him for all the good things Okabe has done in this country. Not only for the people of Serere and the Teso community, but for Uganda. Because indeed, the memories are very big. May all the memories comfort us in this trying moment as we pray for his soul to rest in peace. We thank God, and we shall always remember Patrick. Rest in peace.
Thank you so much, Honorable Pamela. Pamela, then Bugire, woman MP.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, it is with a heavy heart that I raise to support the motion to pay tribute to our fallen colleague, the late Honorable Patrick Okabe, who perished in a fatal accident in my district, just 3 kilometers away from my home. Right Honorable Speaker, I have fond memories of my brother, a fatherly figure in him, and a true servant of God. Right Honorable Speaker, among the many things that I learned about the late, he cherished the institution of family. He spoke passionately about his dear wife, who is also late now, and his children. Right Honorable Speaker, the late Patrick Okabe was a very hardworking person. I want to state without fear or favor that he made significant contribution towards the people of Serere. I witnessed it. He invited me for a fundraising, and many people have spoken about it. He has made a very great contribution to the people of Serere through the different projects, livelihood projects that have changed the people of Serere. Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people of Budaka, on behalf of the 317 family, and on my own behalf, my thoughts and sincere condolences to the people of Uganda, Teso sub-region, and the people of Serere district. May the souls of Honorable Okabe Patrick and his dear wife rest in eternal peace. Great Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Pamela Bugiri Dakas. Bugiri.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to support the motion and condolences to you and all Ugandans. Right Honorable Speaker, I served with Honorable Okabe on the Committee of Human Rights, and I was his chairperson and was member of the committee. Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Okabe was a selfless man. He had a very, very busy schedule, being a bishop, a family man, a manager, and a member of parliament. But despite that busy schedule, he would make time to run and come and attend to field work. We had
a very, very hectic time immediately after the elections. But he would do that by fueling his own car to run and come and meet us wherever we were, just to serve this country. It's a pity, Right Honorable, that Honorable Okabe could perish in an accident like that with his dear wife. And I would like to say or to request that we move as a parliament in the next phase of roads that we construct in this country. We could resolve that we have every new road that comes, because apparently the roads that we have and not separated. Let us separate the roads with those metals or something that they always use to separate them, such that the person who is on the other side cannot cross over to this way, even if they have a problem. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, the country has progressed. Despite our challenges, we have moved and we have so many cars. However, we have continued to plan and construct the narrow roads equivalent to those that were constructed in the colonial times. I would like to request that we, going forward, all the roads that we construct should have at least the least number of lanes should be 4. But we can even do better than that, Right Honorable Speaker and members. Right Honorable Okabe and your dear wife, I believe that you are with the Lord because you served the Lord and you served his people. May your souls rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Bugiri. Honorable Minister, what the MP is saying, we could move away from the single carriage to the dual one so that we avoid an aspect of collusion. And when you hear what the Honorable Minister was saying before, it was basically collusion. The driver that was driving the other car just went for Honorable Okabe's car. So if we have a dual carriage, a road of dual carriage, we could be able to avoid collusions of that kind. So think about it, and then we look at it in the next designs of the roads. Honorable Edakas, then Edakas.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, may I start by thanking you. I represent the committee of TESO Parliamentary Group as a secretary. When we heard of the loss of our papa, you just came in handy. And I really would like to thank you for the leadership that you give this parliament. I also add my voice to the rest of us who said, thank you to this house and to your leadership for considering the burial of our mama. We were overwhelmed and didn't know what to do, but we thank you very much. I knew Honorable Okabe for a very short time, but the people in my constituency referred me to Patrick. We have people crossing on Lake Yoga between Kaberemaido and Serere. And the women in my constituency asked me to learn from what my senior here was doing. And I'm overly indebted to him. I wish I had more time with him. But I'm glad that there are some things that I've learned and I can implement with the women in Kaberemaido. I also bring to this house the condolences from members of the Pentecostal Assemblies of God in my constituency, where I have several pastors for whom the bishop was a leader. And even right here represented is the overseer, the national overseer of the Assemblies of God.
Thank you, Honorable Edakas. Honorable members, let's try to use very short time so that the rest speak. We will close this debate at 3 sharp because the body has to go to the east. Honorable Ivanda, Honorable Mujiche, you will all speak if you respect the rule of 1 minute, 1 minute. All of you will speak. 1 minute.
Thank you so much, the Right Honorable Speaker. The Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to also join our colleagues in paying tribute for our fallen comrade, Honorable Dr. Bishop Okabe. Right Honorable Speaker, I traveled from Untoroko, where we had ADF incursion from DRC Congo. I want to thank you personally. You took time to call me and sympathize with the people of Untoroko. And I want to thank our people and the government of Uganda, UPDF, on what it's doing, but the situation is not yet stable. The Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, on my own behalf and the behalf of the people of Untoroko, I extend my sincere condolences to you, the Deputy Speaker, the family, the Parliament of Uganda, the TESO region, and Uganda at large for this great loss. The Right Honorable Speaker, I knew the late in the 10th Parliament, but what I really realized from him, he was a God-fearing person. And he did not forget his God. Sometimes people do a lot of job. When you go to another job, you forget what you had been doing before. Because of our time schedule as members of parliament, sometimes we forget what we've been doing. But him as a person, he was going to churches, he was still preaching, he was still doing his work of God. So which is not easy to some of us. And two, here as members of parliament, we are independent. Personally, I'm also an independent member of parliament. Some others say we are orphans in this parliament, but the fact that we are not orphans, we have you as our parents, but the fact.
Sorry, you've been cut short. The only thing I can assure you, you're not orphans. You have a Dean of Independence who is a Speaker of Parliament. Actually, as presiding officers, we are more at a loss because the late was a member of Independence and a member of our committee of appointments. Our committee where we co-chair with my deputy, that was our member. So we have lost. And one thing we must tell you, we are very proud of all of you. I did not even imagine to get 20 members in this house. But when I got a house full, I am humbled. And will forever, as the presiding officers, be indebted to you. When it comes to anything concerning our members of parliament, we'll do whatever it takes to protect and preserve our members. Honorable Kato, Honorable Atuto, Kato, Atuto. Hey, Mujisha, I will come back. I'll come back. 1 minute.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand here to support the motion raised by our Prime Minister. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm a Muslim. About a month ago, I met the late in the lift. He started preaching me, and he offered himself to come and visit me in my constituency. He was a generous man. May God rest him in peace. I thank you, Right Honorable.
Amen. I wish everybody would be brief like Honorable Kato. Much after Ituto, we come back this side.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Kapelebyong and my own self, We'd like to convey our sincere condolence to the bereaved family, the people of Serere, Teso region, this August House, and the entire country at large for this loss. Papa Bishop was a mentor to some of us who are first timers. And for sure, he was a humble, dedicated servant of God who was serving his people diligently. He was a peacemaker wherever he stepped. Not some of us here who want to cause commotion wherever you go. That was not with Honorable.
Atuto, first finish your statement. Let's hear from Atuto.
I'm not going to mention names here, but there are members who like seeing trouble wherever they step. That was different with the late Papa Okabe, a cheerful giver who always wished to impart the lives of everyone, irrespective of their background. For sure, Papa, we shall ever miss you and your wife. May your soul rest in peace.
Thank you so much. When we're starting TPG in 10th Parliament, we inherited a TPG which was always fighting. The only person that would bring peace and harmony in TPG was Bishop Okabe. Bishop Okabe would never want to see anybody not happy. He would always call you, my daughter, what is the problem? And he would advise you, no fights with Okabe, peace of mind with Okabe, live a free life, move within your lane. That is one thing I learned from Okabe. Honorable Mujiche, then Sawa Christo.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I convey my heartfelt condolences from, of course, the people of Hweju. But secondly, I've come to realize that during times like these, the reality sets in. Even those who have a lot of senses of entitlement realize that we are all perishable. You hear the people speak and know that, yes, death brings us closer to this truth that we don't know who the next candidate is. And so I don't know why we're always very proud. We speak like we are on top of mountains. We speak like we are in charge of all situations. Yet it doesn't even take a second to leap.
Honorable members, those who are proud do feel it all. God said, forgive them, they don't know what they are doing. And indeed, as Parliament, we have forgiven them. Sawa Christo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. I know people will call me Nava, but I am also Sava. Madam Speaker, my condolence to the family and to you. I know you are going through a lot. This is a very difficult time for you because if you recall, this has a lot of, there's been a lot of confusion. But I pray that God keeps you strong and takes you through this process. Madam Speaker, I served with Bishop Okabe in the 10th Parliament in the Human Rights Committee. And when I introduced myself as a wife in Teso, he really, really guided me and we would always pray together. Finally, Madam Speaker, if Okabe was here and it was somebody else, I would imagine, Madam Speaker, this is just a scripture I want to say. I would imagine the scripture he would give us would be in Luke chapter 23, verse 28. And that says that daughters of Jerusalem, don't cry for me, don't weep for me, but weep for yourself and your children. So let us weep for ourselves. He has done his part. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Honorable Lucy. Honorable Polot, Honorable Moma, Nyenroha.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, I stand for UPFM, where the late was the founder. We appreciate him for the mentorship that he gave to Uganda Parliamentary Forum on malaria, and we pray that his mentorship will make the forum stand. Madam Speaker, thank you for being there.
Honorable Member, some order.
Thank you for being there for all of us. Madam Speaker, we are happy about the way you treat us and help us sort out our problems in this parliament. May the good Lord continue giving you that heart. Madam Speaker, because of time, I want to give information to this house that recently, the late Patrick Okabe was elected by the global parliamentarians to head the fossil-free future and was supposed to continue as, allow me just a second, the focal point person for Uganda, for East and South Africa, because we are aware that fossil fuels are the leading cause of climate change crisis globally. His role was going to be to network with global leaders and discuss a possible shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy before he implements what he was supposed to do as a key coordinator of Uganda, a key coordinator of East and South Africa. He has gone. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you. Bumali, you talk before you go out.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, we are referring to the Honorable Okabe as former member of parliament, but he did not lose the election. Court has not nullified his election, but he's a former member of parliament. It is something that us who are seated here learn. Madam Speaker, you see here members of parliament, including the ministers, even changing their style of moving because they are members of parliament, because they are ministers. And they act as if they eat on the same plate with God. But the time is going to come when all of us go back to the Almighty. We must reflect and then act in a godly way, and that is going to help us. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the people of Chigulu South, where our brother had established a church in Nakalama sub-county under Impact Ministries, we convey our condolences, and my people are mourning. As we talk, they're already in Imbale, waiting for the remains. So condolences, honorable members. Right now, Speaker, the simplicity is manifested when you are paying tribute and burying the late Papa Emory Morini Serere. I saw a poster, campaign poster for the late, reading servant leader on a number of buildings. When you went for the function, the real burial, it's a man who left seats for members of parliament who had gone to bury, who kept carrying chairs to ensure members are. Speaker, I want to thank God for the gift of life that he gave to him and for the wonderful service he extended to this country. We'll miss him. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nyenroha. Bulisa.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And allow me, on behalf of the people of Lisa and Bunyoro Sub-Region, and my own behalf, convey a condolence to you, Right Honorable, to the President of this country, Parliament of Uganda, Papa Mormor, the people of the Sub-Region, to the family and all of us, colleagues, and above all, to the Christians
worldwide. Our colleague and friend, the Honorable Okabe, with whom we were the 10th Parliament, the Committee of Gender. He was such a great person and full of passion. Together with his wife, they invited us in their home as a committee. We dined with them, and we saw the love that was between the two for humanity. Allow me say this, my honorable speaker. In his own words, just this year, in October, this was what the bishop said. We may not even in our own time see the Mbali we want to see, but our children, grandchildren will see it and live in this place. So that was the prophecy that the bishop had. May you live in peace, and may you be able to receive the crown from the Almighty God.
Thank you, Panado, Macho, Komakech, Mapendus.
Madam Speaker, and my colleagues and the family of my controller, I used to call him the presiding bishop, Okabe. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you the way you handled the process until I see my mentor lying here. Madam Speaker and my colleagues, my words are few. Reverend Okabe has been my political mentor and controller because sometimes I run fast. And we have been discussing
Actually, because of mental health, he moves faster than anybody. So, Honorable Okabe has been the controller.
Madam Speaker, since I am born on the border, sometimes we run fast, and it truly has been my controller. My presiding bishop and honorable has been a mentor. We discussed political issues, and the last political issue we discussed how the President Yoweri Museveni gave a very good submission in the US African Summit, and the leader of opposition of NUP went for photo shows in the US. And when we are discussing that matter, Right Honorable Speaker and my colleagues, we also discussed an issue of how in the future, the national resistance movement, we as independents should be given a priority that there should be free and clear elections in our party. My bishop, honorable, rest in peace. I know you are at the right hand of the Father, and you tell him we are in Uganda, but the economic situation is not okay, so that things can be good in Uganda. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, the controller is gone. So we should be able to control ourselves. And leader of government business, there's an issue that is raising on independence. Independents have approached me in my office, how they need an amendment in administration of Parliamentary Act. They also need to be included. One commissioner should be from independence. They should be allowed to chair committees. So you should take it up. Independents are equally like any other person.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you so much.
You've been helping to give, but not their right. There's having a right that this is our right, this is our committee, just like opposition has.
Right Honorable
And being a dean, I will always advocate for that.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for advocating for the independents. I'm one of the independents. Right Honorable Speaker, I bring condolence from the people of Aro County about the demise of a member of your house, and we condone the people of Serere County. Right Honorable Speaker, as a young growing legislature, the late always taught us one of the pivotal issue is to speak with conduct and decorum. We have been faced with other legislators who come and mentor us into utmost aggressive legislation. But today, the late who is lying in front of us has shown that you can speak with discipline and decorum and still serve in this genuine and able parliament. I want Right Honorable Speaker, the wife of the late shouldn't have passed on. I want to send in my plea to the Minister of Health. Why don't we have paramedics working the hospital?
Switch on.
Right Honorable Speaker, the wife the late should have passed on. I want to send my plea to the Minister of Health. Why can't we have paramedics in the ambulances that transport casualties from point of accident to the hospitals? These ambulances are Class A ambulance. While they are transporting our patients, actually they help our casualty die along the way. Other than the driver cruising at a terrible speed, the patient has no one attending to him. Why can't you have paramedics moving in these ambulances? Thank you so much, Right Honorable
Thank
Speaker.
you.
May the late rest in eternal
Thank
peace.
you so much.
Right Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to pay tribute to our fallen colleague. Right Honorable Speaker, it's indeed a devastating moment for this parliament. And I join the rest of my colleagues in condoling with the family, the people of Teso, the people of Uganda. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 11th of August, I received a message from someone I had not known his contact before. And that was the time I was planning to have a Thanksgiving event in Gulu. And so when the message came, I read and says, my brother, I am not able to join you. I would love to be with you and speak to you. And he sent a contribution of 1 million shilling. And so I picked interest and called back and said, because I wondered who sent that message. And later on, he introduced himself as Honorable Patrick Okabe. That to me was touching, very touching, because I had never interacted with him. I did not know him much. So later on, he said, my brother, I have been following you. And when you return to Kampala, enough further discussion with you. There are things we need to talk about. When I returned, I met him. I saw a gentleman, I saw a father, I saw a leader. Because Right Honorable Speaker, leadership is not about the positions we carry, not about the pomp, not about how powerful we can be. It's about responsibility. Leadership is responsibility. And that is exactly what I saw in the Honorable Patrick Okabe. It's unfortunate that today is lying before us. May the good Lord receive him and give him life in eternity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matchbox. Nathan
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Okwalenga.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to join my colleagues in paying tribute to our fallen Member of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, no words can express the grievances we feel towards the loss of our honorable member, but I know it's God who gives and who takes. We can't question him, but Honorable Patrick will always be remembered for the great contributions he has made towards development, and also he will be remembered for the wisdom that he has installed in us, the young people, like in the West Nile region. One time he attended a meeting and he encouraged us to always use the regional focuses for national unity.
Thank you. Patrick was about unity. And that is a Patrick lying there. Nathan?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm joining others to condone with everybody here. I can tell you, some of us are old men, but he was a real Mteso. When I was born, Teso was a different region. I think that's a miracle. Teso was a region where bright people, all permanent secretaries in this country came from Teso. But of late, I am worried. Gentlemen, I want to appeal to you people. This gentleman, I had never seen him. I never met him here. I met him when I had gone to bury Emormor. I think I was the only Munyango who was there. Sincerely, really. He welcomed me and made me, and he thanked me for one simple thing. He said in Parliament, we told people, treat other people the way you want to be treated. That was the gentleman. It is whatever it is. But I would want to say, our Christmas is no more. It is spoiled. And there is nothing we can do. It is to pray for him and his family, but let's go and bury him. Give him a send-off. That's what I plead, and I condole with you, Madam Speaker, for what you have been for us. Be there for us, and always we shall pray for you. May his soul rest in
Honorable
eternal peace.
members, thank you so much, and that is a very humble request to members. Let's go and see of our colleague. That's the only love we can show to the family and to Parliament of Uganda. The Teso will always remain Teso. The wise come from there, and that's Okwalenga.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, from verse 31, it talks of when the Lord himself comes and he gathers all nations together and he divides some to the left, some to the right. And those to his right, he tells them, welcome to the kingdom of your Father that had been set for you from time immemorial. When I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was sick, you visited me. When I was naked, you gave me clothes. I have seen in the work of the late Honorable Patrick Okabe that he did exactly that. No wonder the day before he died, I was involved in, and some two gentlemen came to me. I met them, they are all security guards. And one was praising him, and the other was saying, no, he has not done much. But I said, according to the praise that this, then Honorable Patrick Okabe has done great. Little did I know that less than 12 hours later, he would pass on. The gentleman had given me the number to give to him so that he would call him. But unfortunately, the Lord has taken him.
Thank you. Honorable Issa Avire.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Bunya County South in Mayuge District, and on behalf of Busoga Parliamentary Caucus, I bring condolences to the family. Right Honorable Speaker, a lot have been said on the colleague lying before us here. His generosity cannot be overemphasized. I remember one time when we went to support Honorable Moses Magogo in his constituency, we had organized as Busoga Parliamentary Caucus. But shortly, I saw him arriving and he gave us a lot of money to support a colleague in his constituency. May he rest in peace.
Thank you. That was Busoga Ankole, parliamentary. Ankole parliamentary.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise on behalf of the people of Kashari North and on behalf of the Ankole Parliamentary Group, which I chair, to pay tribute to you, Right Honorable Speaker, and to the Teso Parliamentary Group, and to the family of the late Patrick Okabe and his dear wife. The
Eva,
lot has been
you're going to speak for Sebe.
a lot has been said about the late Patrick Okabe. I can't add anything. May your soul and the soul of your dear wife rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Chemutai. That is Sebe Parliamentary Group.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I join my colleagues on behalf of the people of Buko District and Sabay Sub-Region and on my own behalf to condole with the family for the loss of a great servant of God. Honorable Okabe, as everyone has said, was a peaceful man. Every other time he met me, he could remind me, are you standing in the gap? He had always told me, together with him, we'll pray for Parliament and this country. And in 2018, I had the function.
You will speak for Karamoja.
In 2018, I had a function in my constituency. It said to bring me the whole public address system because it was a church function and told me that was his contribution. And every other time, he encouraged all of us to keep praying for our families, for our nation, and for our parliament. And that is the man who is lying there. I stand to pray for the family and his children, and may his soul rest in peace together with his wife. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, West Nile.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Ora County and the people of West Nile and the West Nile Parliamentary Caucus, which I chair, I want to confirm that it is true that we have lost a friendly man, a man who is easy to go with, very simple, despite all the advantages he had over others. We really want to pray that God comforts the family. And also on behalf of the parliamentarians for fossil fuel free future, when he was elected in Egypt, he informed me immediately. He said, we have to meet, and we discussed, and we promised to meet again in January, but it is not now possible. But on behalf of that group, I want to pass our sincere condolences to the family, to the people of Uganda, that we have lost a great man, but very simple, very approachable, and also easy to work with. May your souls and that of your wife rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Karamoja.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, on behalf of Karamoja people and on behalf of the Ik people. Condolences. Scripture, Matthew 24, verses 36 says, no one knows the day or hour, or not even the angels except their Father. So we should be prepared all the time. Romans chapter 8, verses 31 to 39. Indeed, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate us from the love of God. And that is Patrick with his wife. Honorable Patrick Okabe put a smile in our faces while he was with us. He was very interactive, gave hope to extremely vulnerable persons. Madam Speaker, I went to Garden City and got a child, 7-year-old child, who was very. I came to Patrick and I told him that, Honorable, let's just raise some money for this child. And he said, yes, let's get a list. And we did it for a very young child who was sick. We will live to remember him, and we shall miss him dearly. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. For purposes of record, Achom Alobo Joan, who managed Pisoroti City, and also the Vice Chairperson, Teso Parliamentary Group. A lot has been said about our dear Papa. To me and to the rest of the members here, I believe Okabe was a mentor, a person who called, the first person who called me after I won elections was Okabe and said, now that you're a member of parliament and you're a new person, this and this is what I want you to do. Every quarter, the gentleman here lying before us has been tracking me on whether I am following what we had agreed. This leaves us with pain. You have gone when we needed you the most. We love you, but God loves you more. This leaves me with the prayer that, looking at the way our brother has gone on a road accident and the wife, and the many buses that have been falling on the road, killing people, could we come up with a plan that many of these big trucks and buses have a limited time to move on the road, just like many other countries have prohibited big trucks, big buses to move beyond 9 p.m. and they have a starting time in the morning. This will help us limit some of the sleeping drivers who lose their way when they are moving. We shall also remember him for his humility. A father who loved each and every one. The last time I asked him, it was about a week or 2 weeks ago, was how I can catch the eye of the speaker whenever I'm in the house. And I am glad today I have caught the eye of the speaker with his advice as a father and with total speaker. Thank you very much. May his soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you, Isodo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Okabe was a bishop and I benefited from his pastoral services. He was development oriented and I went to Serere to benchmark and we have the same programs in Ngora. Lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, the road carnage in this country is devastating the families, devastating the communities just because of the bad roads and narrow roads, just like the law had alluded to. I think our role and purpose as Parliament is to direct law. Can we put some attention to the Ministry of Roads, Works, so that our roads can be safe for us? I beg to submit.
Seno.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Senu Anthony, my name is from Kaplebiong constituency. I join all the previous speakers and the Prime Minister supporting the motion as we pay tribute to Honorable Okabe, the late. The community of Serere, based in Kaplebiong, who are really a big number, are joining us in this morning and they'll be joining us in Serere. I wish to thank Honorable Okabe, who has left us, for setting an amazing legacy of being a politician, accomplished, a religious leader, a bishop at that, and a founder of a ministry, an academician at the level of a PhD holder, social entrepreneur, a number of institutions running around, a man who was a man of the people, loved by his people. I am challenged to follow him, and I pray that may God make his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Stephen.
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank you for the opportunity. For the sake of the people in the gallery who may not know me, I'm by the name of Stephen, Member of Parliament, Kabweri, in Bugwere, where the late his life rested. This is a revelation. In around 2012, 2 bishops got a revelation, and one of them was Bishop Okabe, and the other was the late Bishop Chrysostom Wayabere, the first cultural leader of Ugweri. And these two bishops were all based in Imbale. They got this revelation that one was to cause cultural sanity and the other political sanity. They had a lot of issues with their wives because the wives refused them, whoever wanted to go, but they were determined. And Bishop Okabe chose to go to politics, not as a politician, but to cause sanity in the political arena. Just like the late, where I'm surprised that all of them have gone so soon. Late where they went during the COVID, and this one, and also under unprecedented way. I would like to them. I conclude this one very importantly. The prayers Bishop Okabe has made is part of why one of the leader, he's also anointed, has appointed the second and the third most important positions in this country to come from Teso. So we hail Bishop Okabe and we thank him for the legacy that he has left behind.
For my love, Honorable Shan. Then Yusuf.
Right Honorable Speaker, the bereaved family, Parliament is in tears. We are really in tears because all the time we are on the roads. And as we are on the roads, we are mourning our fallen colleague, members. It's hard. But my prayer is that discipline on the road is important. We know that if these enforcement officers would go in for this community policing, also would help. Because I'm very sure that the person who knocked our friend, our colleague with his dear wife, was already sleeping. As he was sleeping, he was disciplined, his driver was disciplined, but he could not escape.
Yusuf Musoke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, as the people of Taleja, we shall miss and remember Bishop Okabe, one, having established impact ministries in my constituency, that is in the Taleja, Bunyore East, in the Gadunya village. And what is very interesting is that he kept on preaching that we should never be religious bigots or zealots. And where he established a church, Right Honorable Speaker, there was also a mosque. And there was some bit of conflict. And at one time I reported to him of what was happening. He told me, Honorable Tembuli, wait, I'm going to do something that I'll not even say anything, but I'm just going to do it and that matter will be settled. One Sunday he came to the church carrying 20 bags of cement. The Christians thought he had taken cement to them. Unfortunately, after prayers, he called the sheikh and said, I brought for you cement, 20 bags. And that was the end of the conflict. Because the Christians would not say, why are these people doing this? And up to now, there is coexistence. If there is any issue in the impact ministries, the Muslims will be there. If there is any issue in the mosque, the Christians will be there. So he brought unity, he brought peace in our area. We thank him for that. He even employed most of our children on impact. Much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Taleja, I thought your colleague has spoken.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. Okay.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. For record purpose, I'm called Mwakayima Musoke Sereko. I send my sincere condolences to you and the family and all the members of Parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, a lot has been said about Bishop, but my focus is on the nature of our roads, Right Honorable Speaker. When you take time and see our roads, Right Honorable Speaker, all the furniture, road furnitures have gone away from our roads. You look at the railway guards that were put on the spot, on the black spot, are knocked down and they are not replaced by UNRWA. That is also a problem. And many other stuff on the road are not catered for by UNRWA. So at this particular time, we need, as honorable members, to think of how best we can do to see that we improve on the road issues. At this particular time, I would like to thank you also, and member of parliament, and also say farewell to the Bishop Patrick. Thank you.
Masaba Solomon. Then Kalaki.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker, I am Masawa Karim, the MP Industrial Division, Bale City. On behalf of the people of Bugisu, I want to send my condolences to the family, to you, the Right Honorable Speaker, and the entire country. Right Honorable Speaker, as the people of Bugisu, we are arguably at great loss, and we've been partly or partially the biggest beneficiaries of Bishop's life. Through his ministries, through his foundations, through a lot that he has done for the people of Bugisu, and it's a sad day for us as the Bugisu people. Right Honorable Speaker, I believe I was one of the first people at the scene when I got the call, because the bishop was my neighbor, because our homes are about 400 meters apart. So I was one of the first people, and I followed up to the mortuary, and the wife also passed on while we were still in the mortuary, so they brought the body as well. But I would like, in a special way, to thank you very much. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for what you did, because when I was in the mortuary, I actually didn't know what the procedure, what was to happen next. I saw gentlemen coming from A+, and they were in a rush saying the speaker has been calling us. They said the Right Honorable Speaker has called us and he wants us to get done with the preparation and transfer the body to Kampala, to City Mortuary. So thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. During those about 2 hours, the people that turned up, I was amazed. I couldn't believe that hundreds of people could gather within such a short time. So very many people turned up, and all this shows the love the people of Bugisu have, the people of Uganda, the love they had and the love they still have for Bishop. I left Mbale today morning at 6, and we actually have 2 arrangements. They have 2 vigils, one at the home in Half London and another one at his church. So there are 2 places where people are converging, but the numbers of people that have turned up, the numbers of people that are coming are very huge, and all this signifies the love these people had for Bishop, and there is nothing really much I can do. Me as a believer, all I can do is pray for Bishop, and I pray that may the good Lord bless the works of Bishop and give him the best out of it, and that of Mama be forgiven, and may their souls rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Solo. Then Kalaki.
Right Honorable Speaker, I want to join the rest in condoling with the Honorable Okabe, the late. Right Honorable Speaker, it was on Friday. The Honorable Okabe died on Monday, but on Friday, Right Honorable Speaker, we happened to see that same nerve doctor in Intinda, Dr. Namara. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I met the Honorable Okabe at about 2 o'clock. We had a problem with this hand, the nerves. So, Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Okabe told me, Solomon, when I felt this pain, I thought that I had a heart problem. I didn't know that it was actually a muscle. Solomon, I really fear to die. I had to run and admit myself in IHK, International Hospital, and they had to do a PCR or something for the heart to check if his heart had nothing. And he told me that he found my heart is very easy. That one. That one. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. You're so knowledgeable in law and even medicine. Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, he told me that my heart is okay. Solomon, I am not going to die. I am not going to die. Let these people treat me and I will be okay. Right Honorable Speaker, when we were leaving, the Honorable Okabe told me, I am happy. I am not going to die. And this reminds me of the gospel according to John 11, when Jesus saw Lazarus and the mourners around the home of Lazarus, Jesus wept. The Honorable Okabe, Right Honorable Speaker, the late, feared to die, but death from another angle that he did not expect. The issue of the heart was okay. The issue of the muscles was sorted by the doctor, but we didn't know that death was coming from another direction. Right Honorable Speaker, I pray, and I know we all pray, that the soul of the Honorable Okabe and the departed wife rest in eternal peace for God and
Thank you.
It was me. It was Kalaki, you know, so.
Kalaki?
Yes. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to join the rest of my colleagues to condole with the family. Meanwhile, I also want to make some small correction. Right Honorable Speaker, I am for Kabera Maide, but you always say Kalaki. I am for Kabera Maide district.
I am sorry, Kaberemaido.
No,
Jane.
yes.
Honorable Wiki Jane.
Yes. Okay, I want to join the rest of my colleagues to condole with the late and the family. For me, the late was like a father, a brother, and a colleague. I'm a first-time person in Parliament here. So I always take a lot of my time to consult with the people who have been here. I keep asking, how have you managed? Because sometimes fourth term, then you wonder, how have you been managing? Because politics has a lot of pressure that comes with it. But the late
You give Jane 1 minute.
Thank you. The late would always give me counsel. He keeps telling me, do this, do that, like that. Then I also want to thank you, Mama. The Right Honorable Speaker actually saw about the late death around midday because I took long to open my phone. But the time I saw, the moment I saw that there was such a tragedy, I knew that we were safe because I knew for her, she doesn't take things and situations for granted. Thank you for giving us the comfort, for always standing in for us and for loving us as Parliament. And then we want to pray that may God rest his soul in peace. Amen.
Thank you, Flora.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for
Hey,
giving.
there are 2 Floras. There is Kasese and then there is 3. Okay.
Right Honorable,
1 minute, all the Floras.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I join my colleagues to pay tribute to our fallen colleague. Right Honorable Speaker, it is so unfortunate that we have lost such a man at this time. Many are the times when people think that politics is a dirty game. But he was one of the people who was changing people's mindset by telling them or letting them know that politics is not a bad game. It is only made dirty by poor players. It is very unfortunate that we have lost you. Rest in peace, my brother.
Thank you, Flora Sironko. Then Butaleja.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm in second term of Parliament and we started with Honorable Okabe. It is so sad that he's gone at such a time, but also to know that he's been a man of God and he was caught up by chariots just like Elijah did. Honorable Okabe has been a peacemaker. The 317 Forum of Parliament, we are really crying. He's a person who has come in when we are bullying each other and sending those friendly fires. He comes in and like a father, he simmers the fires. We're going to miss you, Honorable, the people of Sironko that you've employed at Impact Ministries in Bale are mourning for you. May God receive you as he received Elijah. Rest in peace. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Laura.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On my behalf, the people of Kaleja, we convey our condolences to our fallen colleague, Honorable Patrick Okabe. I had an opportunity to work with him in the Public Accounts Committee Central, and he was a man of his words, and it was manifested through his actions. We are going to miss him greatly because he's a success for that future to development. He was the first behind Faith FM, which is in Mbale, and he happened to employ most of people from Butaleja. He worked a great deal in community by providing community services into farming, and he one time offered a tractor to a farmers group in my constituency. Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the spot where he died, my coordinator this year lost his life. He was on a border and a truck ramaged on him. I support the contribution by my colleagues here that the Ministry of Works should take an interest on that road. The design wasn't properly made and it's a bit slippery. Honorable Patrick will be greatly missed, and your dear wife, may the Lord continue to comfort the family, and may your soul rest in eternal peace.
Thank you. To call.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of people of Palliser County and Palliser District, I send my condolences to the family of late Okabe. Right Honorable Speaker, for the little time I knew Bishop Okabe, he was a great mobilizer. He mobilized for you, and he mobilized for us, the unity of Teso, and we got united. I want now request honorable colleagues, members of parliament, let's live with our people in a simple way. When we become members of parliament, we are still the same people created by God. Throwing fire, know your bosses, know that it is the right honorable speaker, I'm a minister, I'm a member of parliament, we shall move in peace. Throwing fires in TVs and being seen is not very important. Let's live with humility. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you. Ayeko, Derek, Oseko, Sarah.
Right Honorable Speaker.
1 minute.
For record, my name is Ayeko Patrick. I am the Member of Parliament for Soroti County. Bishop, the late, I would only admire him for one thing, how he managed to balance the politics and the religion. He was a revolutionary in the church, and he was a revolutionary politically. For me, that was one thing I loved about him. In all the good things that he did, today is a sad moment, and we will miss him so much. We will keep his memory, we will keep his legacy, and we will ensure that we will always and always remember Bishop for all the good things he has done for Teso. Right Honorable Speaker, as TPG and as Teso, we have lost somebody who is almost irreplaceable by the fact that
Derek.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable. I want to really thank you so much, Right Honorable. I was one of the people who received the information, and I called you and you acted immediately. I even had to post in the groups, yet the first person who got the information was fearing to post. But one thing I want to thank Papa Bishop. When I went for a by-election, he was one of the people who sent me 5 million shillings. I really want to thank him for having a good heart. Papa also inspired me to join politics. Papa inspired me to open a radio station in Palliser. It was because of him. Papa, rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oseko.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My condolences to you and colleagues, but most especially to the family who have lost their dear Papa. My tribute to my friend and colleague, Honorable Bishop Okabe, proceeds from Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 to 40, about the greatest commandment. and that's the love of God and neighbor. Honorable Okabe loved his God, but most especially he loved his people. He served them. All his developmental initiatives were for the love of the people. And I want to tell you, he organized the Serere. I never missed any function in Serere. And whenever I went there, Honorable Okabe was carried by women when he comes out of the car up to his seat. That is a demonstration of how much they appreciated the work he did for the people. Honorable Okabe helped the TPG.
Honorable Okabe led you to South Korea.
Yes, right, Honorable Speaker. We have a parish development model, but Honorable Okabe had already started with us the village development model in conjunction with the Korean government. Honorable Okabe led us to the UK in development initiatives for the development of the ITESO Cultural Union. And we were able to attract the ITESO in the UK to come and support the projects, especially in terms of health for the people of TESO. Health camps and what have you. Right, Honorable Speaker? There's a lot to say, but we can't say it all. We can only say thank you, God. May Bishop and Toto rest in eternal peace.
Thank you so much, Sarah Okot. Honorable members, this is the emotion that has been most spoken to. We have almost 70 members who have spoken. Kindly, you'll bear with me. You'll bear with me. Yes, Sarah.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
This body has to leave from Mbale now.
Thank you, Right Honorable
There's
Speaker.
a team waiting for the body in Mbale. After Sarah, Honorable Okot, Honorable Ikuya.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, my condolences to the family. And I'm speaking on behalf of the people of Tororo. And Right Honorable Speaker, it is said that on Sunday, while preaching, he focused his sermons on Galatians chapter 2, verses 20, and he spoke for a very short time. And his message was, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. And his sermon was just as short as that, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to end by saying, we thank the NRM government for constructing tarmac roads in this country. But we need now to focus on the road designs to ensure that the roads, because of indiscipline of the drivers, we should have clear demarcators for the four lanes in this country, no longer two, because as we can see, the roads are now a death trap. People died at the same time on Masaka Road, people died on Gulu Road, and more other people are dying on the roads. So Right Honorable Speaker, rest in peace, Honorable Kabe, but may I request that we focus road safety as we talk about malaria and other diseases in this country. Thank you.
Dual road carnage is the emphasis, Honorable Court.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker. I want to start by thanking God for having given us our dear brother who has departed from us, the late Honorable Dr. Okabe. And I want to condole with the family and you, the Right Honorable Speaker, and the Ugandans. The people of Agago and actually at large have lost one who had been witnessing, one who have been worshiping God, one who have been giving to the needy. And above all, he has gone. The Bible tells us in the book of John, chapter 5:24, it says, truly, truly, he who have heard the word of God and believe in Christ, he has and he had received everlasting life. And he will not be condemned, but will be from death to life. Madam Speaker, allow me to have one prayer. There's one thing that we need to work upon beside the issues about roads. truck drivers, these lorries, when you are driving on the road in the night, they don't dim their light. Always, they put on I-beam, you try to flash on them to reduce it, they don't. And it's one of the, above all, they know how to identify small cars. I think the ministry concerned about this should have to give some lessons and warning to truck drivers.
Honorable Ikuya.
Honorable Speaker.
Speak to the microphone.
Honorable Speaker, it is normally said that death takes place by surprising us. It cannot be otherwise, because if it were for me, I would certainly flee, to try and flee from it. But it's such a tragic thing that it must always surprise us. But when you have a death, which is not just a death, but many deaths, but affecting so many people, then that becomes more than a death. It becomes what we call a disaster.
Switch on.
Honorable Speaker, I think the gadget is fearing that he hasn't identified me yet. But I want to say that I must confess to you, Honorable Speaker, that I have not had enough time to do parliamentary work or to share it with many people here, honorable members. And indeed, I could not have associated even with the late, except once when we did meet on a more occasion and we conspired to do a few things together, which we have now not done because they interceded. But I'm also hoping that since we are now dealing with the tragedy, those who respond to this tragedy both sides of the house are actually indicating that there are positive attributes to the late, which they all agree on. And since we have such an agreed position, I don't know why we still have sides in this house. We could begin cementing that so to begin having one common feature into our future things, dealings together. That's how we can remember Okabe. Otherwise, you just told me this man was good. Then tomorrow we are doing the same things that we have been engaged in when he has been doing, when we all agree that he has been such a good example. So I'm supposing that we let us learn a good example from him, emulate him, and we carry on his legacy.
Thank you. We are in a multi-party dispensation and we'll respect it and move with it. Honorable Angura.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the people of Tororo and the Iteso Cultural Union in general, since I represent Ichu in TPG, I once again want to thank you and to thank all members for the support they have given to us. What Honorable Kabe has done speaks for itself. They say respita loquita. Indeed, even Ichu Council now is preparing to receive him, and many other people are lining up because of the good works that Okabe did. For us as TPG, you remember in the 10th Parliament, Okabe started the saving model, and by the time we closed for primaries, Honorable Okabe invited all of us to his office, and he gave us our savings, which was huge, really huge. It supported us in our primaries, and no wonder many of us were able to come back. Those are all the good deeds of Honorable Okabe. We shall miss you. We shall miss you dearly.
Elijah, you have a motion? Okay. Elijah first, then you come with a motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, maybe give me an additional few minutes because I also have to give direction to the burial place. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, Serere is mourning. Teso is mourning. Parliament is mourning. And the country is mourning. It's a great loss. It will be very difficult to forget. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 15th, that's the last time I was with him alive in this parliament. We're in the lobby and we moved aside. And Honorable Okabe tells me, my brother, I have got a facility somewhere and I've deposited my land title from Bali. I was asking myself why he had trusted me with that information. I just said I have noted. So on Monday morning, at about 7:15 a.m., Honorable Naigaga Mariam calls me, sorry for the loss of your brother. We're in Arusha. I was shocked. I reflected back and I was saying, is this the reason why my colleague was letting me this information? I don't know. I bring that to our colleagues and to the members of the family, that information, such that when all this is done, we should be able to see how to handle that situation. Right Honorable Speaker, accidents, some I beg the people who are controlling the thing, Right Honorable Speaker. Possibly it would have been me on the 16th, after I'd been with the Honorable and we had all planned to go to Serere. Honorable Polot was going to Pingere as I was going to Casilo. When we arrived in Mukora, I asked my driver for us to branch to a service station, Akelo Oils. As we drove in, the driver just rushed to the service bay. As I got, I was asking him when I was going there. So told him that this car is not stable. I don't understand why. When he checked the car, 3 bolts were off. We're only on 1 bolt. I want to ask colleagues to take note of their transport. I don't know who could have tampered with the car. We don't know what would have happened to us if not for branching to the station, what would have happened to us. So colleagues, as we move, as we travel, let us be cautious. Let us be cautious of our surroundings. You never know what will happen. Right Honorable Speaker, we bring condolences to the family of the people of Casilo, with the immediate neighbor. I go through his constituency to go to Casilo. Honorable Okabe, I've known him. We grew up in the Pentecostal church. I got to know Honorable Okabe in the 90s, early 90s, when he was at the Bible College, where Reverend Amir here was the head. He was with my brother, who is also bishop in the Pentecostal church. We have grown up in that. And I want to thank the Pentecostal church for giving us that foundation. All the good attributes you say here have all come from the church, like you have heard from Corinne. And we want to thank the Pentecostal Assemblies of God for that upbringing. Right Honorable Speaker, our brother died in that accident. But there's something that's not coming out. I think I'd expected the Minister of Transport or the Minister of Internal Affairs to have given us a full report about the accidents. I'm told by the family, because Honorable had also told me that he would be flying out like he has always done. At every end of year, he goes to Mbale, organizes a party for the children and the orphans. Then after, he leaves to join his family, either in the US or in Australia. And on this time, he was headed to be with the girls in the US, then he would connect to Australia to be with the sons. He was prepared, that's why I was moving with his wife. There was property in that car, including cash. No one is talking about it. No one is talking about it. There was money, as we are traveling, you carry some dollars, carry some things. Eh? I'm told in something more than 70 million of equivalent dollars. So what happened? Why is the police not telling us the report, giving us the report about that? But also, like Madam said, that this driver went head on to him. Was it a foul play? Was it what? We need the family is asking for an investigation. The police, the government must tell us really what happened. Because the driver took off, he has taken off. Where is he? This is a non-Ugandan because of the Kenya registration number. He cannot disappear unless he jumped into a border and boarded from somewhere, but he would have been able to be got. So, Right Honorable Speaker, that's the prayer from the family to the government that we need to do some thorough investigation to really establish whether there wasn't any foul play this matter. We have talked about the incidents on the road. I think we have the laws for relations. The problem is, in most cases, is enforcement of this legislation laws, enforcement. Because most of you who go through that road, that's a good road at that point. It's a very good road. By the way, it even has humps in Naboa there. So how did this happen? That's why the family is asking for that. Honorable colleagues, we want to thank you. On behalf of the poll, we want to thank you for turning up in good numbers. I want to add my voice to what the speaker has stated here. We want to thank you. Madam Speaker. The good Lord that has kept us, continue to keep you. Thank you for being there for us. My mother died in your hands. I was out of this country. And there are so many others that you have shown that heart. May God continue to guide and protect you. It has become a habit to you to do these good things. We can only pray to God that He keeps you and keeps you strong, alive, as we continue this political journey in this country, to start this country. You are welcome to Serere for the burial. I want to give you the directions. You can access Serere in a number of ways, either by water, by air, and by the main Soroti Flying School, and just drive 17 miles. You will be in Ochapa. It's not very far from Ochapa Town Council in Serere. If you are driving, when you reach Kumi, from Kumi you go to Ngora, you cross to Serere. It's about 45 kilometers, but this place is less than 40 kilometers. The place is not very far from the road from Ochapa. So you can also go up to Soroti, or if you are coming from Lira, because it's all tarmac up to Soroti. Then from Soroti, you come from Soroti to Ochapa, which is a good Maram road. You can also go from Soroti to Serere and then to Ochapa. You won't get lost. If you are from Kamuli, it's much, much shorter if you don't fear water. Within only 20 minutes, you could be just said of Pingire and you are in Serere. Or you could be from Bukungu in Kamuli to Kagwara and then to Serere. But would advise you to come from Kumi, Ngora on that Maram Road, or when you reach Soroti, from Soroti to Serere, you'll be able to join finance. So, Right Honorable Speaker, want once again to thank you, but to the family, to our father, thank you for the good mentorship you gave us in the church. To the children, I know one son is arriving, I think has just landed. One son is joining us. We are expecting the daughters, but we don't know whether they'll be able to make it. But we want to thank Papa and Toto, that we shall keep you in our prayers. But we remain your children. We remain your children to try to comfort you. Omoding and Okabe, who are here, and the whole family. If the family finds it fitting to have a replacement from the family, we are variable to be deployed. If the family finds it fit that the replacement must come from the family, I think we should be able to support. Yeah. That is, I'm leaving that with the family to do that. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, Psalm 73:26 is the verse I want to leave with the family and all of us. It says, my flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. May God bless you. May the soul of our brother Patrick Okabe and Toto rest in eternal peace. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Prime Minister, do you want to say something? You have a motion? Yes, the motion.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, also associate myself with all that has been said here, and being that I'm part of the local government committee of which was a member. Right Honorable Speaker, given that we've really given it time and we really have other members of the community of Umbali and then later on those of Serere awaiting this very body, and still the country has to still mourn. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I'm rising under our Rule 59 of our Rules of Procedure to request this House through you, Right Honorable Speaker, and as I move a motion that House closes debate on the motion for resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to the late Honorable Okabe Patrick, and later on the body is received by other communities. I beg to move.
Is it seconded? Seconded by Bear, Moma, Wilson, Yendoha, Edie, Derek, Prime Minister, ICT, by everybody. Thank you so much. I now put a question that this House resolves to pay tribute to the late Honorable Okabe Patrick, the former Member of Parliament of Serere County, Serere District. Those in favor say under control and name. The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Clerk, please extract the resolution of this House and pass it on to the family. And we want once more to thank you. Honorable Minister of Trade Affairs, would you love to guide us? When is the burial? Honorable members, the buses are available. Even if you want to go to the Hollow House, all the buses are available to take people.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The body will leave Kampala today and will spend the night in Mbale. And then tomorrow there will be prayers at Impact Ministries in Mbale up to 11 a.m. when the body will leave. Depending on availability of time, it will either leave direct for Serere or it will leave via Soroti, where each wants to have 1 hour with the body. Then it goes to Serere, where there will be a council sitting to pay tribute to our fallen comrade. And then on Saturday, service will begin at 10 a.m. with viewing of the body, and later on in the afternoon, the interment of the remains of our brother. That will be on Saturday, 24th of December in Serere. So as Honorable Elijah Okupa has guided you, I don't know why Elijah didn't talk about the road from Mukongoro, because I use that all the time, and it is a shortcut also. Oh, you can also, after Oladot, which is the swamp, which is via Palisa, you cross Oladot swamp, and then the next town is Mukongoro, and right from Mukongoro, you right to the left, and that road will take you straight to Ngora and then to Serere. Actually, it is the most direct access to Ochapa from Kampala. So we welcome you all to Serere on Saturday. The program begins at 10, and hopefully by 4 we will be done. Thank you very much.
May we rise to receive the anthem. May we remain standing as the body exits the chamber. You may resume your seats.
Honorable members, I want to thank you for today's special sitting. And this brings us to the end. We adjourn the House to tomorrow at 10, where we shall receive the budget framework paper. The House adjourned to tomorrow at 10.
In is the day when even the cars are going to pick them.
Is there any cars assigned to a Commissioner Irene, and do you know it?
Yes, I know all the cars assigned to all the commissioners.
Commissioner Irene Masit?
Commissioner Irene Masit also has a car.
Which one?
It's KCL 133U.
KCL?
133U.
133U.
And it's a Toyota Prado, yes.
Toyota Prado.
Yeah.
Does it have a government registration?
Yes, it also has a government registration number. And the registration number is GKB 699R.
GK?
GKB 699R.
699R. Just give me 1 minute.
That is the one that is registered. It is a registration number when we procure it. But for security reasons, we give them private numbers. We write to the National Police and they basically give us to the head of public service.
Okay. Now, it's very interesting that you've just given me that number. Just go to volume 5. Volume 5, there's a small volume I've put there. It's a document from Yaya Center. Do you see that registration number?
Which page are you referring to?
Page 29.
Page 29.
Number 2 from the bottom.
Page 29.
GKB, you see that?
Yes, I see from the bottom, the second from the bottom.
At the top, you see it is a vehicle of movement for where? The top.
At the top, this is basically the document is located in the apartment, tenants and staff vehicle movement.
So, okay, second from the bottom is which car?
Second from the bottom is the person who wrote his name is Victor.
No, the car registration.
Is GKB 699R.
For which apartment? Number?
Apartment.
The third row?
The third row is number 21.
Okay, that car, is it IBC car?
Yes, yes.
You are allocated to who?
This is allocated to Commissioner Irene Masit.
And is this the same one on the next day, the next page? Page 30, the first one?
Page 30. Yes, yes.
Right, now I need just to go on the first day, on the 15th, on page 21.
Page 21.
Which,
page 21.
Do you see?
Just a moment.
Do you see the KCL number there on the 15th? Look at the 15th.
15th. Okay, not very late, but
line 8, row 8.
Yeah, it is, but okay, it's as if it is rubbed, but it's 130. There is a 6 and 3, almost just.
KCL 133U. Whose car is that?
KCL 133U is for Irene Masit.
For Commissioner Irene Masit. Provided by who?
By IBC.
By IBC. Thank you. We can move that on. Now we go to, you are talking about section 11. So once you give vehicles to the commissioners, do you regulate where they go, or it's up to them?
No, we don't regulate where they go, but it's supposed to facilitate them to, of course, come from their house to the official premises, which is the IBC headquarters. And also sometimes when there is official duties outside the work session, they will basically use the same if they want to use. Yeah.
Right, so paragraph, same section 11A of the Act, it gives the functions of the chair. What is the function of the chair and the commissioners?
Section 11A.
The one you've even cited in your statement, number 6.
Yeah,